11 impossible coincidences that actually happened. Sometimes little coincidences happen that make people shudder. Some things in history, however, are so strangely coincidental that they are hard for people to believe. Assassin's brother saves Lincoln's son. Years before President Abraham Lincoln died, his son Robert fell from a platform car at a train station. Totally helpless, Robert could do nothing to free himself. But thankfully, a man grabbed him by his coat collar and pulled him to safety. This man was none other than Edwin Booth, the brother of the man who would assassinate Robert's father just a few years later. Lincoln and Kennedy dates. Both President Abraham Lincoln and President John F. Kennedy received the majority of votes in the year of 60, 1860 for Lincoln and 1960 for Kennedy. Lincoln took office on March 4, 1861, and Kennedy stepped in on January 20, 1961. Both men made it into the House of Representatives 100 years apart, Lincoln in 1847 and Kennedy in 1947. Even more Lincoln-Kennedy coincidences. The coincidences did not end with the dates. Both shootings took place on a Friday preceding a major holiday. They also had their wives with them when the shootings took place. The two men also had sons that died while they held their presidential terms, and their last each had 7 letters. The Passion of the Christ. Some call it more than coincidence that while filming the Sermon of the Mount scene in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, that actor Jim Caviezel had lightning strike him. Luckily, he survived the strike and only suffered minor injuries, but it left many of the crew members shuddering. Twins. The parents of a set of twins born in Ohio gave both of their boys up for adoption. 2 different families adopted the boys, and they never knew each other. Ironically, both adoptive families named their boys James, both grew up and went into law enforcement, and they both even married women named Linda. Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe, the famous horror author, wrote a book titled The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym. The book talked about 4 survivors of a shipwreck. After the men found themselves starving in the ocean, they killed the cabin boy Richard Parker and ate him. 46 years after the book came out, a real shipwreck occurred involving the Mignonette. The men aboard drew lots to see who they would eat. Ironically, the man who lost was none other than Richard Parker.